It's the Deck Talking Devil back with you again for another recommended reading segment. I want to quickly read you this section, a small synopsis of this book, and I want to see if you can tell me which book this comes out of. No Googling. Put your phones down. Get your hand off the button. Do it. All right. The God of the Old Testament is arguably the most unpleasant character in all fiction. Jealous and proud of it, a petty, unjust, unforgiving control freak, a vindictive, bloodthirsty, ethnic cleanser, a misogynistic, homophobic, racist, infanticidal, genocidal, filicidal, pestilential, megalomaniacal, sadomasochistic, capriciously malevolent bully. Do you know what book that came out of? Chances are you don't. But if you're one of these, if you're anything like me, had you read me the first 6 words of that sentence, I would have been able to tell you where it came from. Because I've heard it repeated by this guy over and over again. It's like he uses it as an opening statement whenever he goes and does talks and lectures about the book that I'm about to review. So before we get started with this great weekly reading recommendation, I want you guys to go ahead and hit that like button, share, subscribe, turn on those notifications, the little bell, that bell. You want to hit that, and that way every time there's a new video, you'll be the first to know. So, quite a sentence already coming from this book. And this is actually the first sentence in the second chapter of the book. So he catches a lot of flack for that statement. He calls God infanticidal, genocidal, homophobic, racist, megalomaniacal, sadomasochistic. He calls him so many wonderful things. Just like fuck. That it can cause you to have an intellectual orgasm. That's all I'm saying. Because he words it in such, I guess you could look at it as being, I wouldn't call it verbose. I would actually say it was pretty concise because there's so much, there's such a litany of things that you could list against God, the God of the Bible, the God of the Quran, the God of the Torah. So many things you can list against that God, that for him to have the list that short, but to say as much, I mean, that was a loaded statement. To be able to say that much in so few words, I think was masterful. A rare master stroke of the pen, unlike we see in a lot of cases where guys just kind of talking out both sides of their mouth and not really saying anything, but using up a lot of video space. I don't know anybody like that. So, what's the book? Here it is. You guys should know this book. Get familiar with this book. Alright, The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. This book, I definitely recommend this one. definitely recommend it. The God Delusion. So Richard Dawkins is actually a biologist. So he has a scientific approach to things in general, which I think is kind of the basis of what leads people to become scientists in the first place. It's like that process is innate in those individuals, and it pushes them to be very analytical and structured in the way that they think and approach things, very logical. And so science really speaks to those individuals with those traits, and those people thrive in the field of science, the multiple fields of science. And so Richard Dawkins is no stranger to me and to a lot of people who go searching and questioning, trying to find the truth and possibly the truth of religion. And so on this journey, this book was one book that, man, it helped me so much. All right, this book right here, I highly recommend this book because I got a lot out of this book. He talks about so much stuff in here, from a perspective that's not attacking religion. Okay, he's not attacking religion. That statement that I just read you would probably say it's the harshest statement in the book. And even then, it's meant to be sort of humorous. So it's not an attack on religion. Throughout this book, he's going to make a lot of different arguments that support the ultimate conclusion that to believe in God is delusional. All right, without necessarily being overly aggressive against religion. He's not Bible bashing, but he believes as well as I that there comes a point when we have to say, okay, that cannot be a double standard. All right. If the community came out, society came out, and we all raised our voices and protested Harvey Weinstein, or R. Kelly, we protested Bill Cosby. We protested, for Black Lives Matter. We protested against police brutality. If we as a society can come out and openly and frankly speak against issues of grotesque violence and injustice perpetrated against people, by people in powerful positions, all right, then we cannot turn a blind eye and have a double standard for when the violence and the injustice is being perpetrated by God. Okay, we cannot then have this special pleading and say that, okay, if you want to say that Hitler was a monster because he committed genocide against the Jews, or at least attempted to commit genocide against the Jews. All right, people who were, by all accounts, innocent of any real crime against him deserving of death. He just wanted to perform ethnic cleansing. And we label him from then to eternity as a monster, committing heinous crimes against humanity, doing the unthinkable to other human beings, and not batting an eye at it. And everyone is quick and unconcerned when they voice their opinions about how much of a monster he is. But when you have a God committing the same crimes on a much larger scale, how is it then that we can justify, how can we reconcile, on the one hand, calling a human a monster when they commit the same acts, and on the other hand, turning a blind eye and even justifying those same acts when they're committed by God? In the book, this is pretty much a running theme because it brings to bear the responsibility we have when we're choosing to practice dissonance in order to justify those acts when they're committed by God that we believe in versus when they're committed by another human being, as if there was a difference. As if there was a difference. And people say, relatively quickly, people would say that God never killed anybody. Okay, so now you got to show me where Hitler actually killed somebody. Hitler didn't kill 6 million Jews. If we're going to use that same rationale, right? But you still call him a monster and say that he's disgusting. He deserved to die. It was unthinkable, reprehensible, horrific what he did to men, women, children, the elderly, the disabled, the mentally disabled. But yet, when God does the same thing to that same group of protected individuals, we say nothing because it's God. I don't agree with that line of thinking. Neither does Richard Dawkins. And he does a great job at making the point that we have to stop making this double standard. Okay? If we can criticize and analyze, assess rationally and logically these acts being perpetrated by humans against humans, then we damn sure can do it when it comes to these acts being perpetrated by a supposed God against humans. Alright, that's not the central theme of the book. But that is a point that he makes that I can relate to because it hits home with me. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. This special pleading, this double standard. Alright, it just irks me how religious people can be so judgmental and so matter of fact when it comes to condemning humans, sinners, unbelievers, atheists. They can condemn us, no problem. It's a matter of fact. You're going to hell. But when it comes to looking at the same acts being committed by their God, I got nothing to say. He's God. Who am I to judge? He's God. The creation can't judge the creator. The creation can't tell the creator how to do his job. His ways are above my ways. His ways are beyond finding out. He moves in mysterious ways. Instead of just saying that I cannot reconcile the fact that he's allowing and instructing people to be not only enslaved, but he's instructing his people to go out and commit genocide, kill them all. You go into a city, kill them all, leave none alive save the young virgins. Every man, every woman, every animal, every little boy, kill them all. The only thing I want you to allow to live It's the young virgin girls. Them you can keep for yourself. When a statement like that rolls off the lip of a god, he gets the finger. Because I don't care who you are and what position you hold, it is immoral. It's immoral. That is a point made in the book. Right? It is immoral. We have to stop making this double standard. Now, to be fair with the book, he deals with a lot of stuff like the founding fathers, and how the founding fathers of America were indeed secular. He talks about monotheism. He talks about the depravity of agnosticism, all of this kind of stuff. He goes into a lot of different areas, and it is a wonderful book. And in the atheist community, this book right here, and not just in the atheist community, but in the skeptic community. If you consider yourself a skeptic, this book right here is well known, highly respected, masterpiece if you ask me. Richard Dawkins really knocked this one out of the park. So I highly, highly recommend this book, The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. Go out and get it. Read it. Don't just let it sit up on your bookshelf. Actually read it. You can see my cover here is kind of worn out. Kind of, yeah. But read the book. Hey, this has been the Deck Talking Devil. You should have already hit that like button. You should have already responded in the comment section. At the beginning of the video, I posed a question. Did you guess correctly? Did anyone get the answer right without going to Google or Bing, without doing a Google or internet search? I'm curious to know, did anybody get it right? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm talking too much now. My video should have been over at the 15-minute mark. So, this has been the Deck Talking Devil. Until next time, keep learning, my friend.